You know, the other day I was looking up what coping skills were on Urban Dictionary, and it kind of surprised me and made me laugh. I even printed it off and shared it with my patients because I think it's the one thing I address the most in my groups, and it's probably one of those cliche words that drives people nuts. And a lot of people think coping skills are only for if you have a mental illness, that it's something to deal with mental illness. But coping skills are really something that should be present in a positive mental health. One of my favorite analogies is that we should all have like a coping toolbox. In a sense, a set of tools of different things we can use in different situations. Now, a coping toolbox is really a collection of go-to resources in one spot where you can try different things for different situations. No one coping skill is going to do the job all the time. One of the most important things to add something into your daily routine to make it a habit is to have it easily accessible. So my coping toolbox is more of a bag. It's where I keep all my stuff together so my wife doesn't get mad at me. She doesn't like stuff laying around the house. And it's also been a very convenient way to have a go-to spot to keep all my stuff. Probably one of the most important coping tools that I have is actually this notebook right here. This notebook, I always bring it to my groups. I constantly show my patients how important this has been for me. It's where I can write all my things down, all my ideas. It's where I even write down different coping skills and strategies that I want to try. But really what it provides is an opportunity for me to clear my mind, think about other things, and be able to just focus on the present if I'm distracted. With that comes my two favorite utensils. Kind of is a fidget. I find myself doing this clicketing thing all the time, that thing that probably annoys you if you're on an airplane. I think in a lot of ways, even coffee can be a coping tool. I practically always carry a set of earplugs with me. I have a gift from a friend that I graduated OT school with, and that is 300 writing prompts. I also find writing in the daily prompt book helpful for resetting my mind. It was not too long ago, I was pretty frustrated, so I went home and I took a break and I just wrote a daily prompt, and by the time I was done, I felt a lot better. But if I ever get in those times where I really don't want to write, that's where it's handy to have a writer's block. And this is another gift I was given by a very special friend and family member. This is called the writer's block. No matter what type of creative person you are, or whatever way you express your creativity, or even if you don't consider yourself a creative person, I think it's helpful to have other ways to practice different skills. I'm not much of a drawer, but this gives me an opportunity to draw when I don't feel like writing. It literally looks like a wood block, hence writer's block. I find it helpful to have sort of a fiction enjoyable book with maybe a more educational book. And I think reading can be a very good coping skill for a lot of people. I find it very handy to have a calendar to plan out your day, make lists, and even write down when a coping skill could be useful to you. Another example of a coping tool or even a strategy is I have a clipboard, which I find just convenient to put stuff on. Also on it is a grid of the Covey grid, a time management tool, or to give myself a better idea of where things fit into different priorities. Post-it notes, I find post-it notes incredibly helpful because, well, you can write things down on them, but you can leave yourself notes. And as you saw on that time management grid, I used small little post-it notes to write myself things to do. Did you know a post-it note is almost like a perfect square, which means that it makes really great origami. And origami is a great coping skill or coping tool. More on the fidget side of coping skills, or coping tools if you will, I had a Rubik's Cube that I kept on my backpack during OT school, and that was quite a fun fidget, especially as I was having a hard time staying awake during class. I would take it out and sometimes try to solve it, and it did work a little bit. Not as much as coffee helped, but it did help a little bit.